There we go, yeah.
So suspect, this was the first alert that went out early this morning. White male, brown hair, wearing black body armor over a blue shirt and blue pants, may misrepresent himself as law enforcement. Do not approach. Subsequently, they added a little bit more information and instruction to people living in that area, which is, Karen, they were talking about the number of officers who are going to, if they come to your door, there's going to be 2 or more.
Right. It sounds like we have our own Paul Blume that's going to be live for us. He has a new interview to share with us and some new details as well. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, hey, Karen, good morning. This is the first time since I got a chance to talk to you since joining our coverage. We are in the Edinburgh golf course general vicinity. I mean, certainly well within the lockdown range, probably maybe, I don't know, 3 football fields away from the Hortman house. I want to get out of the way of the shot because we have focused so much of our attention this morning on what we believe. We don't have 100% certainty, but that is Melissa Hortman's, the Hortman's driveway. That is what we believe is that fake squad car, police vehicle that the alleged gunman was traveling in this morning. Since he fled that scene on foot. The reason why I wanted to get to us just as soon as possible is while they've been in and around, we saw him in the back seat. They've now opened the hatchback, the back of that SUV. I'm seeing some pink coloring, maybe, you know, like a file containers, if you will, out of that back area being removed. It's hard to see. Again, while we are close, we are certainly not able to get right on top of that, but that is a focus of major attention right now. Investigators combing that vehicle. I've been describing it this morning. It's black. There's no clear markings from our vantage. We have a pretty good zoom on our camera. We don't see any, you know, distinctive, as if it were a stolen squad car. We believe it's sort of just faux, fake, made to look like a squad car with those old kind of flashing lighting strobe lights up on top. You don't typically see now with the modern day SUVs, the undercover looks. But that is what they perceived was a police car in the driveway. You think about that's where the manifesto is found this morning, the No Kings that has state authorities on alert telling people not to go to protests today. There's the encounter on the front stoop just feet away from that squad car where the arriving officers from the Senator Hortman shooting are here to check on Melissa Hortman, make sure everything's okay. All of a sudden they encounter someone who appears to be police, dressed like it, has a taser, has the vest, has the uniform, has the badge. It almost looks like the Brooklyn Park Police Chief. Mark Bruley mentioned that. There's an exchange of gunfire. We understand he said something on the stoop, ran into the house, and then disappeared out the back. I have to point out, perhaps on that map you've been showing, but on the back side is just the golf course. That's the Edinburgh golf course. And from there, you know, that suspect could go in any direction. I mean, as we spoke this morning to you, you know, I'm anxious in this neighborhood. It's presumed he took off, but we've certainly seen stories where people lie low in a neighborhood until the heat, you know, dissipates and then they emerge. So we don't know. This neighborhood doesn't know. This neighborhood remains quiet. We've seen a dog walker. We've seen maybe 1 or 2 looky-loos driving through, but otherwise this neighborhood, Saturday morning, I mean, it's overcast, not a beautiful June Saturday morning, but this neighborhood is quiet. People are inside. I've only encountered, like I said, 1 dog walker, a couple of vehicles driving by. We've been here at least an hour or 2. To set the scene a little bit further, I did have a conversation with a neighbor. She heard the gunfire. Her and her son have lived in this neighborhood for 17 years. I've queued up the interview just to give you a little bit of a flavor. Some other neighbors, a little anxious, didn't want to go on camera. This family stepped outside and I caught them in their driveway. Why don't we just play a little bit just for our viewers to kind of hear from folks directly who live in the Hortman's neighborhood.
Yep. And then I look at my husband next to me. I say, "Dad, I hear gunshot." And then my husband's still sleeping. And then I wake up and I down on my knee and I pray that no one get hurt. Yeah, that's the first thing I did.
Get down and pray.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it felt close. You just didn't know where.
Yeah.
Where the gunfire was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When did you realize? Did you then go to windows and see?
Yeah, I went through the window of my bedroom. Yeah, in my master bedroom. Because my bedroom is straight across from her house, so I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you knew right away it was.
No, I don't know. Like knew that it's her house, but I was, I thought she lived somewhere.
No,
Yeah.
You didn't know her exactly.
Yeah. No.
I see.
No.
When you got that shelter.
You can keep that mic 6 inches lower.
Okay.
When you got that order to stay sheltered, stay in place, what did you think of that? Do you remember?
No, I
Get it on your
wasn't. I
phone?
wasn't think of anything. I just recorded
Okay.
and I post on my TikTok and they say, hey, something happened in my neighborhood. Yeah.
Do you remember a couple of years ago someone had told me there had been protests outside her house? Did you remember ever seeing
No,
that?
I
remember.
he remember. I don't.
Okay, that's
I don't
right.
really keep up the news. He do.
And you said for you, Melissa, I mean, it was kind of cool to have the Speaker of the House or Speaker
Yeah.
of the Minnesota House.
During, I think 2023, I was trick-or-treating, and I went up to her house, and she was there. I was like, "Ooh, really? This is where you live?" And then we took a photo together, and then I don't know, but the day of the protest, I think it was like 2021. One of my friends who live also nearby her house, she told me that some people knocked on her door, and then said they're going to do protests. I don't know what exactly they were protesting, but there was something there.
Did you hear the gunfire?
No, I wasn't. I was still kind of asleep. I heard sirens, but I wasn't sure what was going on because I thought it was like from the highway, but it was just right over there.
Really quiet neighborhood in general, I take it on
Yeah.
this golf course. How are you? What's your mindset now? Are you sad? Are you?
I'm a little disappointed on why people are shooting politicians, and I don't know. It's kind of odd for this to happen.
And again, a little flavor from this family that lives, within the neighborhood, the subdivision. I wanted to show this photo. You heard that interview there. Again, just kind of live back and forth between me and the young man, 17. He was really taken by the fact that the Minnesota Speaker of the House at the time lived in his neighborhood. He was out trick-or-treating, and he met her at the door, and he said, "I got to get a selfie." And she, that's Melissa Hortman there. With this young man, now 17, with a friend while they were out trick-or-treating. And that's what it felt like when I talk to some of these neighbors. I go up to their door. Again, just to give you some sense of the mood here, you go up kind of quietly, you present yourself. Everybody's worried about this single police. Look for that. I don't want to startle anybody, so we go up, present ourselves and begin talking to people. But describe the Hortmans as living in this neighborhood for decades, is my understanding. They're dog walkers. They're out and about. They had grown kids, so some of the older folks in this neighborhood have had their kids grow up with them. So there's a lot of hurt, a lot of pain in this neighborhood because this was personal for them. We talked to some of those lawmakers. It's personal for those who spend time with Hortman and Hoffman in the legislature, and it's very personal for these folks in the neighborhood. I'm just going to kind of take a step out of that shot, just get back to that, again, what we believe is that fake police car in the driveway. It looks like the investigators have kind of backed away from it at this point. The hatch has been shut, the back seat where we'd seen some people moving around looking for stuff. That has, they've pulled back, but very much a thorough investigation. That dead-end street is blocked off. This is basically the closest we can get to the scene. I'm thinking back now as I go back to kind of the first neighbor I spoke to. They had their bedroom open on this side, bedroom window open last night. They distinctly remember hearing 2 bursts of what they described as either automatic, semi-automatic gunfire. Their presumption now, knowing how this story unfolded, was that they heard the initial shooting of the Hortmans, followed by the police encounter with the gunman dressed in law enforcement tactical gear at the door. So they said it was very close proximity. They thought maybe about a minute. When you think about how quickly law enforcement arrived from the Hoffman shooting to the Hortman house, we talked about it's maybe 5 to 7 miles, depending what route you take between Champlin and Brooklyn Park. And tragically, that is where the speaker was shot and killed alongside her husband this morning in a political assassination. I can send it back to the studio. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to fire away.
Yeah. So, Paul, I'm curious, just setting kind of the actual scene where you are. When about did you get there? And are people, other cars? I mean, are people able to come and go, or have they kind of blocked off a perimeter, or are you able to move? Have they told you to stay put? Like what's kind of going on the ground where you are?
Yeah, great question. I mean, we've been here, what do you think, Doug, 2 hours? Probably 2 hours now, Amy. Yes, people can come and go. You know, I see some neighbors walking out here. We actually just kind of kept moving just to see how close we could get. We weren't sure. We did pass some squads that are just kind of what I would describe are in sort of observational positioning. We weren't sure they were going to flag us down and not let us go, but they did let us come down. You know, we're now, I mean, you'd have to go to the next block and take a right into her neighborhood, but you know, we're 300 yards away from the Hortman house. So yes, you can come, you can go. It's not a total lockdown. I mean, I think back to years ago. I'm from the Boston area originally. The Boston Marathon, the Hunt, and the Boston just shut down, and police are going door to door. It's not like that here. You know, I mentioned in my initial reporting that the golf course is on the back side of the Hortman house. So if someone were to flee out the back, which is the suspicion that law enforcement and authorities have said, they would have kind of landed on the golf course and could have taken off in any direction. We obviously just don't know. There's some big power lines that kind of run, creating a gap that someone could follow in the dark of night. You know, was this guy trained? You know, we just don't know. I mean, he had tactical gear. He had a faux police car that he arrived in. We don't know what type of training or that would indicate, but no, there's anxiety. People, as I said, there's not a lot of movement. It's Saturday morning. You know, I mean, it's not raining up here. People I would guess would normally be out and about. That's not happening. But yes, people can come and go. There's no, you know, there's no orders to, you know, no one's here keeping people in their house. You can come and go as you wish, but clearly people are obeying the.
But
what
Paul,
they're getting on their phones and
that perimeter is still set up, correct? So you can't come and go with your car. Is that right? Or you can?
No. I mean, my understanding certainly is the neighbors right here next on my left off camera had just come back from an errand they had run, and there are some, like I would describe as like looky-loos. We've seen not a lot. I mean, not much, but 1, 2, 3 here. We haven't tried to go out and come back in. But when we came this morning, you know, they were on each and every corner, a squad car, some type of community service or some type of law enforcement. And, you know, no one stopped us. We got to this point where this is where it's really blocked off. Like no one is going down this final bit into the Hortman's very specific subdivision street. But from this point across the little pond here, we certainly have not been bothered.
Hey, Paul, you know, the suspect vehicle is intriguing. We're looking at it right now. And I keep trying to see what that picture is or that flyer is on the side of the vehicle and the back of the vehicle. Was Doug able to figure that out through his camera or any idea? I mean, it's got a few, it sort of looks like a squad, but they've got some weird tape on it. Can you kind of describe what it looks like to you? Or Doug?
Yeah, so Doug on our Doug, I just whispered in my ear as I pulled out my earpiece. So I mean, that is that stuff that is taped on it, like the white paper. We believe, and Doug has been behind the camera. He thinks that's something that's been put up by investigators, the BCA, for measurement purposes. Because that definitely was not on the squad, whatever that vehicle is, when I got here. I mean, I will continue to say we don't have 100% absolute confirmation that is the vehicle in question, but it is the Hortman driveway. It certainly matches with what authorities say, and investigators have spent a ton of time this morning looking at it, going around it, pulling stuff from it. So that is the best we can do for you from this distance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to clarify that, Paul, kind of the difference between a shelter in place and a lockdown, because it does sound like, but, you know, as someone just sort of watching, it also kind of makes me, you know, think, well, this is the area they're looking at, and if they believe the person is in there, you would think that it would be a little bit more locked down, I guess. That's just kind of just me as a person, a human, asking that question, you know?
Yeah.
I did hear.
And then it's a good point on the verbiage of a shelter in place versus a lockdown that perhaps we might sort of concoct in our heads. But I mean, we have not seen in the 2 hours we've been here. Now that's hours after the shooting. Bear in mind, right? 3:30 in the morning. I mean, we did not get here until what? I mean, 10 a.m. So I mean, there were hours and hours. I don't know what this place looked like. Were there grid searches done in here that they now feel like this area is safe? I just don't know. We don't know what we don't know. We haven't seen any really active action by law enforcement here. For us, it's been the investigation over by the squad, over by Hortman's house. I heard some sirens in the distance. You know, that's kind of what I'm on edge for. Like, is there a deployment? Is there a place that they get word that a suspect may be? I haven't felt that in this immediate area. Again, the sirens were light. They weren't intense, and we certainly don't have any intelligence to say they're, you know, breaking down a door somewhere or are hot on the trail of this individual. But yes, the shelter-in-place order continues. People are observant of it. I don't want to knock this neighborhood. I really want to be clear. I have not seen a lot of people out, but certainly people can go.
Okay. I think they were searching, I had heard that they were searching a couple of other areas as well, in addition to that Brooklyn Park area.
Right.
So,
well, and Paul, you're obviously the eye of the storm right now. That's probably, you know, the most unlikely place. And to your point, they may have canvassed that area already. Thank you for all of those updates, and we'll check back in with you here shortly. Karen and I have just been saying, you know, we need to also talk about Champlin here.
Right.
And this
Senator Hortman,
other scene and the other victims here who have survived, but we don't know their condition. Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette.